Hey folks, welcome to my channel. This is my money pit, a 1972 Traveline Class A motorhome. I'm going to be restoring this, or attempting to. It needs a lot of work, so let me show you around and what I've got going on. I've already torn out the floors for the driver and passenger side, torn out the front dash. All this is going to be replaced. There's a brace, I guess. I'll call this the cab brace. Is going to go along here. I've actually already got that built out. The kitchen sink and stove used to be, I've already ripped that out. The dinette I've already ripped out. I've got a couple of seats from a 76 Winnebago. Those are the original seats. One of them was missing and the other is in not so great shape. This is a chair that was next to the dinette. I don't think this was original. I think this was put in by the owner. I'm going to be getting rid of that. Here's where the water tank was stored. I've only got junk in there now. I've taken the water tank out. That's going to be replaced. Lots of cabinets going all the way around. There were cabinets all the way over the dinette and over the kitchen. All this has got to be ripped out. I've already started ripping out the outside of the shower. Closet space. There's a huge closet here. Down here there's storage furnace. Here is where the refrigerator would be. Microwave used to be up here. Down here is the hot water. And that is a lot of wasted space. After I rip all this out, all this wasted space, like this gigantic closet, it's a lot of wasted space. I really do not like how this was designed. Look at all this room that could have been used. There are a lot of places in this RV that could have been done better. Over here, right behind where the driver was, there was an empty box. Inaccessible. Literally just a step, and it was enclosed. Nothing in it but cobwebs, and I don't understand why there's so much wasted space. I'm going to be fixing that. There's a lot that could have been done better, like this particular window. I ran a stud finder. There's nothing holding up this window except styrofoam. These pieces of wood aren't actually physically connected to the rest of the RV. That's just insane to me. It is framed. There is a wood frame going around, and then it is connected to these, and these are embedded in the foam, but there's nothing else. There's nothing else holding this window up. I'm going to be rebuilding this so that everything is truly physically connected. Here's the outside of that same window. You can see how much it flexes. And it's not because of rot. It's just because this whole thing is held in by styrofoam. So the biggest challenge I'm going to have here is repairing the floor. This was all sunken down. This all just sort of broke. The brace that I'm talking about, that was snapped in two places. I'm just going to call it a brace. I don't know if there's a technical or engineering name for it, but it was snapped in two places. It was just 3/4 inch plywood. And so as the RV aged and began to rot, water was leaking, it began to sag everywhere. And all of the weight was put on that one piece of plywood that goes across. And that effect is going on throughout the entire RV. If we get down low, you can see how it sinks down towards the kitchen cabinet there. And that's going on all the way around. The whole thing is sort of just sort of sinking down. At some point, I'm going to have to either rebuild the entire floor by ripping all this out, everything comes out, and rebuild the floor. The alternative thing that I could do is I could try to remove the skin from the outside and slide new wood into the existing floor to try to correct this bending. this sinking. In the meantime, I'm going to get started installing that new brace that I built. I sort of overbuilt it because I didn't want that to happen again in the future, where the weight of the RV is sort of sinking down because of old age, just the sheer weight of the roof and everything else, just pulling down on it. The front is sort of in. The upper part of the front, I'll call it the bonnet, I guess. I'm trying to come up with names for each component. I don't have schematics or anything. Everything is sort of just patched together at the moment, just so I have a roof over my head while I'm working. So everything's kind of crooked right now, but hopefully that'll straighten up once I get everything framed up properly. I just realized I haven't cleaned up this edge yet of all of the old screws. So I'm going to have to do that real quick before I drop this in. Since I wanted to get the job done in less than a millennia, I opted for hammering off the heads, just simply breaking them off. Now that those dumbass clutch screws are out of the way, I can drop the brace in. So these brackets, I don't believe are original. I think these probably are, but I'm not sure about those. They seem to be getting in the way. Okay, with the step brackets out of the way, let's see if it'll drop into place. So I'm having a little bit of difficulty in this corner over here. It looks like I'm going to have to lift up this side, which, as I pointed out earlier, the sides are kind of sinking down due to old age and rot. About 3 inches on that side, about 3 inches on this side. Here it is from the outside. You can see how off everything is. This old stuff has been warping for more than 50 years. But the new stuff is lined up pretty well with the door. I think the door is a little bit warped coming out. It's going to be a lot stronger than the original. You can see what I did. Because the brace is resting on the chassis, I don't really have to move it. It's where it's supposed to be. but I couldn't get the old stuff that was still sort of suspended by the rest of the RV to go up to get over this. So just a bottle jack, that's all it is. After removing the bottle jack, it held up pretty well. Now you can see the weight of the passenger side has lifted it up on this side. And if we take a look in this edge over here, this, at the bottom of this 2x4, needs to be level with the top of the brace. You can see how much this is falling down on this side. So I'm not going to bolt this in just yet because I don't want this to break again. The reason I don't want to do that is because this whole wall is sinking down and there's nowhere else for the weight to go. The weight of the roof and everything else being transmitted down this board directly onto this new brace. I've got some additional work to do. There's a board here, rot here. This was going all the way down and resting onto a 2x2. There's the original 2x2 back here. That's all rotten. So I just put this, I had this temporary framing in place while I was driving this here. This whole board is going to have to come out and be replaced. And then I'm going to have to replace this 2x2 all the way down. That way there's somewhere for the weight to be transferred. It'll transfer down into the floor. You can see that board getting completely out. The roof hasn't really shifted. It's this board that has come out. All that weight is being transmitted down to the final boards that are not completely rotten. And it's causing all this warping and weird things going on where nothing's lining up. From underneath, I would like to put in some sort of metal brackets along the chassis to mount to the floor underneath so that there's additional bracing. It's no wonder that this thing started to just sort of slowly sink down over time. So I think some metal brackets bolted up to the chassis and coming out sort of like a bookshelf, a bracket coming out to help support the floor. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. This is my first video, but I will do my best to make this as entertaining as repairing a vintage RV could possibly get. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.